Previously on Dungeons & Dragons.
Our heroes eventually made it back to Boston without further incident. Our heroes went back to their employer's restaurant to report in. Our heroes exchanged the book they recovered for a shitload of gold. Like literally exceeding carrying capacity amount of gold. Having completed their goal, our heroes all went about their business in town. Ellie and Haku sampled the local desserts. Chad checked in on his local orphanage and found that things were coming along nicely. Duke returned to terrorizing the citizens by planting some screaming trees. Bullen returned to the ship and discussed where the ship will be headed next with Felix. They decided that their next destination would be the uncharted continent to the west. And so our heroes set sail as their adventures continued. I'm sure everything will be fine. They definitely weren't never heard from again. Duke eventually published his discoveries from the journey, and it sold extremely well. To this day, Duke hasn't realized it was released as a work of fiction. Ellie went on to become the supreme leader of the Gucci Church. Mo is the vice supreme leader. Bullen was determined to prove himself to Haku and eventually became the world's greatest magician. Unfortunately, Haku has still never seen him do any magic. Haku and Vecna eventually got their misunderstanding cleared up and settled their differences. They are now best friends and frequently enjoy each other's company. Chad went on to adopt all the orphans. Like literally all of them. Even the walrus ones, against Chad's better judgment. Allura went on to graduate at the top of her class from tennis college. She is currently the world tennis champion. Skadoodle to this day remains in hiding as the figurehead of the ship. His patron has been unable to find him to this day. Faye eventually awoke from his being dead and found himself in the land of the dead. Eventually he encountered a strange but friendly group of adventurers. Rune having achieved his 2 victories on Baxwell, he moved on to his next wrestling gig. He is currently undefeated in the Astral Plane. Everyone who was claimed by the bench are still imprisoned by it and are traveling through time and space to this day. No one has heard or seen anything of them in quite some time. And Cappuccino eventually became the God King General Emperor of the planet. He also is the president of a very successful coffee franchise due to Duke and his monopoly on coffee beans. And they all lived happily ever after. The end. Now wasn't that a nice story? I certainly enjoyed it. I sure hope the monster enjoyed it enough as well in order to calm down and not kill all of it. Shit.